All right, hey everyone, what's up, Inner Circle family? Matt Morris here with Ruth and Trisha. Super excited about this week. I know you guys have had a lot of assignments. You've done a lot of work, and as we start off the coaching here, I just want to say I'm proud of you guys. I know it can be scary going through all this stuff. I know for a lot of you, this is new. A lot of you have done, quite a bit of work on yourself in the past. And I know this is a different flavor for a lot of you. And so excited about your journey. Congratulations for those of you who are really doing the work, congratulations. And so this week is going to be a powerful week for you. Trisha and Ruth are going to go through some powerful things. I'll turn it over to them here in just a second. And I'm going to dive into really being your message. And so this week is really about mastering the attract phase. And, there is the attraction on social media, and then there's also the attraction of who you are. And so I'll be digging into that here in just a little bit, but I'm going to turn it over to two of the most dynamic and most talented networkers in our profession. Ruth and Trisha, take it away, my friends.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. I love it. Well, we are so excited to be here this week and really want to dive in to, really learning or teaching you guys, a little bit more about how you can, like Matt said, make yourself attractive online. So I know Ruth is going to share our slides.
Yeah, just give me 1 second and I'm going to do a screen share here.
Well, I'm excited because I know that we've gone through some really incredible stuff so far. And I know, Ruth, that when you and I went through this, it made a huge difference for us in our businesses.
Absolutely. There we go.
Yay. All right, guys. So this week we've talked before about care. And this week we're going to be talking about the attract portion. So what content that's going to attract people to you and your business on Facebook or so any form of social media. Once you get these concepts down, it doesn't matter where you're using them. As long as you're using them, they're going to work for you on every platform that's out there.
So today we're talking about the types of content that attracts your perfect prospect. Last week, we talked about who is that perfect prospect. So this week, we're going to talk about the types of content that you can put out there on social media to start attracting that perfect prospect.
So the first thing that we want to talk about is what to post and, of course, what not to post. And I know, Ruth, we find this all the time that, one of the biggest things that people say is, well, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to do. Like, I have all these things I want to say, but I don't really know what to do. So we're going to cover that tonight, because now that you know who your avatar is, now that you know who your perfect prospect is that you're looking for, we're going to show you and help you so that you can start creating that content that's going to attract that avatar to you.
So tonight we're going to really dive into all the different types of posts that you can start doing to attract that person. And there's a whole bunch of different ones, and they all do different things for your social media and appeal to your avatar in different ways. So we're going to really dive into those tonight and give you some examples and some takeaways so that you can start posting those types of things as well.
So the third thing that we're going to cover tonight is your call to action. So as you're doing these different types of posts, one of the things that's really important is to have a call to action. And we're going to show you various ways that you can do this, because what that's going to do is it's going to call your audience to the action, and it's going to require them to actually take it. But a lot of people don't know what to do. So they need you to be a little bossy sometimes and tell them what to do. And so we're going to share with you some ways to do that that are really effective.
Absolutely. And lastly, we're going to touch on telling your story again, because your story really is so important. And we've covered it, quite in depth so far about the struggle and the pit of pain and walking through the valley of death and all of that. But we're just going to touch on it again, because your story and the way you share it and kind of the flow of your story is really important to allow your perfect prospect to start really connecting with you.
So first, we're going to talk about what not to post. And you guys probably already have a little bit of an idea on this because we've shared with you some things already a little bit that, we've had you clean up. But again, you're really not going to want to be posting pictures of your product or your opportunity that's clearly showing the company name, right? That's one of the things you're not really going to want to do. And the main reason behind that, like we've kind of talked about, is we want people to come to you. We want people to feel curious, right? You're going to create curiosity with some of your posts, and you want them to reach out to you. You don't want them just Googling the information. You actually want to have a conversation with them regarding this. You don't want to be posting anything that looks salesy, right? So, just posting the product, talking about the special that's going on, or, things like that. You're not going to want to do that. That's really salesy. It also comes off as spammy for a lot of people, but you're not going to want to do that. You're also not going to want to do your links to your replicated website. Now, this is a big one because, pretty much everybody in your, in whatever company you're in, you're going to have a link that's going to take you to your website where people can buy a product that obviously it links to you so that you get that customer, you get paid that commission. But what you don't want to be doing is just throwing that link out on social media, because again, people, for the most part, most people are just going to go look at it. They're going to check it out. They're going to think they know what, based on what they read or the price or things like that, without really learning anything about it from you. And it's from you that they're going to get, what it's done for you, how it actually works, how it can benefit them, right? Again, being that solution to the problem. But if you're just throwing the link, they're not going to see that. They're just going to see a bunch of products. So you don't want to be doing that. Also, like we mentioned, you do not, and especially in today's time, like this was always kind of a rule, but now it's a really big rule. Don't really be doing anything political or controversial. Okay, so that's just, you're automatically going to turn off half of your audience by doing that. And it's just not worth it. Like, you work so hard to start attracting people. The last thing that you want to do is turn them off with one post, right? And it's just not worth it. And then posts that make you unedifiable. This one's a big one, right? If you want to be a leader in your company, you want to be somebody that people follow, you don't want posts that are going to unedify you. Like, for instance, first of all, political posts can do this. When you get too political one way or another, that can definitely make you unedifiable. But one of the biggest things is, maybe you went out with some friends, you had a little too much to drink. You don't want people you don't want this being posted. Your personal life is your personal life. Keep it personal. Don't be blasting it all over social media. And the thing is too, guys, Ruth, I think you would agree with this, is sometimes it's people's perception isn't what the truth is. Right. So if they see something, you could be with a whole group of people who are really drunk. Maybe you weren't the drunk one, but you're with all of them. Right. And these posts are being put out there. You're going to probably be associated with them, and people are going to perceive that you were doing the same thing. And not that there's anything wrong. It just, again, your personal life should be kept personal.
Trisha, I always like to think about things like, before I post something that might be something I don't want everyone to see. I always think about, when I cross the stage as a leader in network marketing, is that something I'm going to be proud of having on my timeline or on my social media, right? So always keep that in mind when you're out having maybe a little too much fun somewhere, and maybe it's not appropriate on your social media. So we know what not to post. That's pretty easy. So what to post? So we're going to be diving in today to some of these types of posts. Number one is content that is valuable to your avatar. So what does that look like? Well, we went through the avatar last week and identified their major problems, right? There are things that they're struggling with, the things that keep them awake at night, those things that are in the pit of pain. So we identified those things, and the valuable content becomes the solution to that problem. It could be helpful tips, strategies, tools. Maybe, you want to uplift your avatar because they're really in the pit of pain. So you're posting maybe some motivational posts or some encouraging kinds of tips to get through troubled times. So those could be valuable things to your avatar. lifestyle posts. Lifestyle posts are huge, and we're going to give you some examples of them. But really, what the lifestyle posts do is they help your avatar get to know you. Because like Trish said, right, when you are just posting like links to your replicated website or pictures of your products, your avatar's not really getting to know, like, and trust you, and no one's going to buy from you or join you till they do. So those lifestyle posts give people a snapshot of what your life looks like, and really helps them create that connection to who you really are. Do you want to cover the next couple, Trish?
Absolutely. So engagement posts is a big one as well. And I love engagement posts because obviously it's what the name is. It's engagement. You're trying to get people to start really interacting with what it is that you're putting out there. But one of the reasons this is super important on social media is, no matter which platform you're on, the more engagement that a post of yours gets, the more people that platform is going to show it to. Okay. So if you've got something that, if people start responding to right away, the faster people start responding, the faster the algorithm is going to open it up for more people to actually see it. So if you put something, you're doing the same post all the time, it's not getting any traction, it's not going to help you. So engagement posts are a great way to do that. The other thing they do is not only are they, going to get people to comment or get people to interact with your post, but it's going to get, depending on which type of engagement post you do, and we're going to give you a bunch of examples tonight. It's going to take, it's going to open up the audience for you. Some of the posts that we've done before, Matt had a great one and we've used it too. And it says, when and how have we met, or when and where did we meet, something along those lines. But I had people from grade school commenting, right? So it's going to really open up that audience and get people that you've not seen or talked to in ages who also are going to comment. So they're really great posts to be using.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to throw in a little tip here for you. When you are doing these posts, we take all of this time to curate posts and think about what we should be writing for our avatar and pick the perfect photo or picture or make it look pretty. And we get it out there and then we just kind of leave it. So what you want to be doing is, before you post that post, engage with some of the people that you want to see it, because it's going to kind of trick the algorithms on social media to make sure that that person sees the post. It's going to see you as more closely, you two as more closely connected, and they're more likely to see your posts in their news feed. And then when you post the post, take the time, spend 5 to 10 minutes just kind of watching the post. And as people start to comment, make sure you comment back, because that's going to tell the social media platform that people are liking your post and there's some interaction on it, and they're going to push it further and further out so that more people see it. So don't just post, do a little bit of work before and a little bit of work after.
Such a great point, Ruth. I love that you put that on there. Another thing are polls. These are really great ones for engagement as well, but really getting people, again, to interact with what it is that you're putting out there. So you can do a poll. It could, a poll like giving people like 3 different choices to choose from, where's your favorite vacation spot, beach, mountains, lake, giving people some options where they can then go in and vote on them. And Facebook loves that because, again, people are starting to interact with you.
Absolutely. Another great one is this or that. So I love those posts. I even comment on them because they're kind of fun, right? Do you like my hair straight or curly? Or do you like broccoli or cauliflower? So it's this or that types of posts that are really easy to comment on. People will take the time to comment. And again, what that's going to do is it's going to start creating some interaction. Your posts are going to be seen more. You're going to have more people to actually talk to when you start posting some more intentional posts around your business or call to actions and things like that. We're going to dive into that in a bit.
Another great one are results and wins. Now, these are really good, especially when you're building your business, right? Because you want people to see things. And the cool thing with this is it can be big or small, right? It doesn't have to be a huge win, but it can be, but it can also be a small win. I know we've put some posts out, as we're adding teammates, right? Another person who came in and did this, or another person who hit a rank. Those things are great. Or even, when you're, crossing the stage at a seminar or a convention, something like that, having things like that, but just really sharing the results and the wins. And what tends to happen, and what we have found, is when we get really intentional with it, and really start putting them out there on a regular basis as they're coming in, we get a lot of reach outs, people going, okay, what are you doing? And they've probably created some of the biggest results for us by just sharing those results with other people, but in a very tactful way.
Absolutely. Gratitude is another one. So gratitude posts, just letting people know what you're grateful for in your life. And often with these kinds of gratitude posts, you can tell a little story around them, like a person that you're grateful for. It doesn't always have to be business. It could be, maybe you're out for a walk somewhere and you're feeling inspired and you're grateful for the place that you're at. And those gratitude posts, when people read them, number one, it makes them feel good. And it often makes them reflect on things in their own lives that they're grateful for. So they tend to be really feel good, warm kinds of posts that make people a little bit more reflective. And it connects you closer with your audience as well, when they can see the types of things you're grateful for and see what kind of person you are, right? So gratitude posts I love doing gratitude posts. They're one of my favorite kinds of posts to write.
Mine too. I feel like they're, in a way, the easiest post. I love it. But Ruth, you brought up something I wanted to kind of comment in too, because you said, how you can kind of tell a story with the gratitude, and also how it doesn't have to be business related. And, the thing is, really with all of these posts, it's kind of that way, but I wanted to specifically say for the results and wins too, it could be a win in your life, right? It doesn't have to be a win in your business. It can be a win in your life of something that you're doing too. So, don't feel that it always has to be business related, because again, you're just looking for things that are going to really resonate and start to build that know, like, and trust, and really build that rapport with your audience.
So the next one is pics with your team having fun. So if you're at a convention, if you've maybe won a trip and you're on a vacation with team members, or maybe you're just on a Zoom call and you're having some fun and everyone's smiling and laughing, you can take a screenshot of it. What those do is they create FOMO, so fear of missing out. And those types of posts, when you have people watching, you always have to remember that sometimes people in their regular lives, they don't have that. I think of back when I was working full time and I wasn't in network marketing yet. It was a bit of a grind. Like I would go to work and it wasn't really all that fun. And honestly, I didn't really like the people I worked with that much. And, it was a grind. And when they see these things of groups of people going places, they want to be a part of it. And it doesn't have to be physically going places. I often take screenshots of team Zoom calls where we're celebrating something and everyone's smiling. And so that FOMO, people see that and they don't want to miss out. They want to be part of something. They want to be part of a group of people who are happy and moving towards something bigger. So those are really important posts to throw in there every once in a while.
I love FOMO posts. And I remember, Ruth, the last time you and I were together in person, when we were in Austin, Texas for an ads training, and we did a whole bunch of silly posts, and people, it was hilarious. People are, where are you? What are you guys doing? It was just fun. And so definitely have a lot of fun with those posts. And then the last couple that we're going to list here are curiosity posts and lives. Now, both of these are going to be huge for you, but the curiosity posts, when you can get really good at doing a curiosity post, you can really start getting a lot of people to reach out to you, because you can, well, I look at it like this. I remember I was always used to trying to create some curiosity, but I would always end up giving all the information in the post, right? And probably some of you have done this before where you give every detail you need to give about your product. There's no curiosity there. But when you can actually tell a story in your post, that's going to create more curiosity sometimes behind a lot of things. And again, it can be business related. It doesn't have to be. But a lot of times, even with your business, curiosity posts are a great way to get people to be reaching out to you. And of course, lives. Lives are always going to be that number one. Facebook loves it. Instagram loves it. TikTok loves it. All the platforms love it when you go live. And the thing is that they're going to, show more of your posts when you go live. So if you've got, a great post that you want to put out there, sometimes it's really good to get it out there and really start being active already on the platform before you do your live, because your post is going to get more engagement and then your live tends to get more engagement as well. But bottom line is, when you're going live, you can build know, like, and trust faster than any other way on social media. But it really takes all of these things and changing it up, because everybody's a little bit different. Some people want to watch live videos. Some people want to read a post. People have different modalities on how they do things. So really being able to change it up, one, is going to work in your favor with the algorithm, but two, it's also going to work in favor with attracting the people who you want to attract.
So here's some examples we're going to dive into. So here is an example of valuable content. So Trish did a live video, and her live video was 3 reasons why you aren't getting results in your network marketing business. Are you ready for that to change? So she's giving some valuable tips in her video to people who are potentially in the home-based business industry or network marketing industry or direct sales. And that valuable information is helping Trish position herself as someone of authority, right? She's got authority. She's got some tips to share. She's got valuable content. She can help someone maybe who's stuck solve a problem with these tips. So valuable content, that in itself is really going to help you increase your attractor factor, because it's going to give you more authority. People will start seeing you as that, that valued advisor, and they'll start coming back to see more and more of your content. So that's why when we dove into the avatar, we really wanted to figure out what were their problems, right? What were their biggest struggles? And what are some of the things that we can start sharing in front of them to solve those problems? So this is a great example of valuable content. Now, this could have been done in a live video, as Trish did, or it could have been in a written post, or she could have created a Canva meme with 3 tips on. This kind of valuable content can be shared in multiple modalities. Like Trish said, not everybody watches live video. I know I'm not a live video watcher, but I'll sit down and I'll read a post because I can read really, really quickly. So you're going to, by mixing the way you share your content up, it's going to appeal to those different types of people who are watching you.
Absolutely. And actually, Ruth, I just wanted to comment on one thing on this. This wasn't really part of our slide, but I wanted to point it out. One of the things here, guys, is you do want to come up with a kind of a catchy title. And on here, you see I have 3 reasons you aren't getting results in your network marketing business. Believe it or not, when you make it something like, what you aren't getting, it tends to attract more people. When you make it somehow a little bit negative, like people like that versus, even if I had 3 reasons you are, or 3 reasons people do, when you say 3 reasons you aren't, it really hits that pain for somebody. And they're all like, ooh, I'm not having results. What is she going to share that could give me some results?
I love that you mentioned that, Trish, because one of the things that I used to love to do, and I still do it today, is as I scroll through, the various social media platforms, oftentimes sponsored ads come up, and I love reading the hook. So the hook is the first line. And if you can write a hook that captures someone's attention enough to either read the rest of the post or to listen to the live video or whatever it is you were sharing, you'll get way more traction. And one of the ways I learned how to do it is just scrolling through, looking at the sponsored ads, and really looking at those hooks to see how they were written, how they sounded, how I felt when I read them. So that's a really great point you brought up there, Trish. Okay, next one. This is fun. So lifestyle posts. This is where people get to know, like, and trust you on a more personal level because you're letting them in, right? You're opening the curtain a little bit and you're letting them in to see your life. And this is a fantastic one here of Matt with family, having fun, obviously. And those lifestyle posts, that's what really allows people to start connecting with you on a personal level and get to know you a little bit, like the things that you like, the things you love to do, a little bit about what your family's about. It makes you real. And the more real we are and are viewed as real on social media, the easier it is for people to connect. And like think about when you want to connect with someone you don't really, maybe you've never had a conversation with on social media. Like when I look at this picture of Matt, man, I want to connect with him. He looks like an amazing guy, hugely energetic. But if you've got someone who maybe just posts pictures of themselves standing beside, a Rolls Royce or a mansion, you're going to be a little less likely to want to reach out, right? Because you might feel a little bit intimidated. So lifestyle posts are amazing to create that relatability.
Love that one. Love it. Oops, there we go. So engagement posts. So we had talked a little bit about this before, and here's that example we were talking about where it says, hey friends, when and where did we meet? Well, what I want you guys to notice is right underneath that caption, how it says how many comments. There were 943 comments. I'd say that's a pretty successful engagement post with 943 comments. But it really, when you think about it, again, it's just, you're starting that conversation, you're asking that question. Like we said before, you could also do polls, but they're just great conversation starters. And it doesn't matter what walk of life people have been in. If they know Matt in any way, they're probably going to comment here. And that's what makes it super fun. And I know I used this one a couple weeks after he did it and got incredible results with it too. And did you use it as well, Ruth?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was just curious. I'm like, well, how many people are going to respond? But it's so great. And now we're going to show you exactly how to do one of these as well. We're going to give you some examples.
Yeah, I'm going to just hop over to Facebook. But one thing I want to mention before I do that, when you do these posts, I want you to always remember, you never know who is watching, right? So maybe you're just getting started and maybe you've done some posts and you haven't gotten a lot of engagement on them and might feel a little bit frustrated, like, is this ever going to work? And then you do an engagement post like this, which is, it's not businessy, it's just very simple. And people come out of the woodwork. And I remember doing engagement posts going, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that girl from high school was following me on Facebook. So you never know who's watching, right? So don't get discouraged, always show up because people are watching and you might not even know it. So let me just figure out how I'm going to get over to Facebook here. Here we are.
Yep, there we go.
And the first thing I want to do is we are going to be sharing these 32 engagement post examples with you to help you get started, right? So you don't have to start from scratch. Now we're going to deliver this in a couple of days. We're going to put it in a really nice PDF for you. It'll be posted in the group for you. So don't worry, it's coming. But these are 32 engagement posts that you can start using just to get more engagement and more people commenting and more conversations. So I'm going to pick one of these here. I'm going to do, how many cups of coffee do you drink per day? So I'm going to hop over to my Facebook now and let me get up to the top here. Was looking for posts before we got on. So what you're going to do with an engagement type post is, first of all, you're going to write it. So how many cups of coffee do you drink in Frank in a day? I have to cut my nails. I can't type when I have long nails. In a day, question mark. And I'm going to put an emoji because emojis will make things stand out a little bit. So I'm going to find the little down finger emoji because I want people to comment. And then what you do is you just click this little colored thing here and you can pick a background. So it could be this, or that's kind of like a birthday. I'm not going to pick that. That's kind of cool. I'm asking for a number. So I'm going to post this and I'm just going to click.
And actually, before you do, Ruth, can you go to the right where it shows like those 4 little boxes?
Yep.
Yep. I just wanted people to see, if you scroll down to, how many others there also are.
Oh, there's hundreds you can
There's so
choose from.
many.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't, guys, when you see that too, don't think you have to choose one of those first ones, although a lot of them are very fitting and cute because it's got your little avatar in there. But there are a ton of backgrounds that you can put in there as well.
Absolutely. So if I were going to actually do this post on my own, I would have engaged for a few minutes with some people in Messenger. I might have commented on a few people's posts that I wanted to see, just to create some engagement with, and then I would post it and I would wait a couple of minutes and just watch to see who was commenting so that I could comment back and really boost that algorithm up. So there's the post there, and we'll come back later and see how it's doing. So back to our slideshow. Okay, so those are engagement posts.
All right, I love those. So here are some examples of results and wins, right? So you can share a product result or a business result, but they're a great way to showcase your business or products or even your team. So these were just some pictures of, some of our teammates going across stage, and, Ruth just really writing us a great little post talking about, how great this has been, right? And that, how much fun it is to really watch team members go across. So, but you can do this with anything. It could be, maybe you've lost weight, and that's a win, that's a result. So it's a, a great way. It can be personal or it can be business.
And here's gratitude posts. So share what you're grateful for. Let people know what's important to you and what you're grateful for. It shows the real side of you. It shows you what you're all about. They're usually very warm kinds of posts. Here, Matt wrote one about his mom. And it, when you read the post, it just makes your heart feel warm, and it gives you feelings about the kind of person that Matt is. So gratitude posts are amazing to allow people to connect with you on a deeper level.
Absolutely. Love gratitude posts. And team pictures. All right. So these are great ones as well. So as you're at different events, as you're traveling, as you're, could be on Zoom. I mean, gosh, with the way things have been, I know forever, the only posts until we, were able to finally start being in front of teams earlier this year were just from our Zooms, even from like morning huddles. But anything that you can do, to be posting about your team is great. So sharing those pictures and travels, and what that's going to want to do too is it's going to make people want to join you, right? When they see people going together, it creates that FOMO. But people love to be a part of a special community. And I can just share a real quick story. I had a gal who I had talked to probably about 1.5 years ago about joining our business. And she was great. She's like, oh, I love watching you guys. I love learning from you guys, but I just want to continue to be a student. I really love my company. I love where I'm at. And we were like, no problem. We're going to support you from the sidelines. Do what you do. Well, she continued to be in our group and continued to work with us and watch us. And about 3 or 4 months later, I got a call from her, and I was like, hi, how are you? And she's like, I just wanted to let you know I'm reaching out today because I've decided I want to come join your team. So I share that because people are watching. And when we later asked her what made her do it, she said, I just keep watching everybody on the team win, and I decided I wanted to come be a part of it. So when you can share things like that, it's going to be really powerful for you. So don't ever be afraid to do it. There's great ways to do it that make it fun and not braggy.
And the other thing is if you're new, or if you're just getting going, or maybe you had a team and it disappeared, or maybe you don't have a team yet, maybe you've only recruited a person or two, or maybe even no one, that's okay, because you can still share stories of other team members. You can still share stories of maybe you went to convention and you got together with some other people and had an amazing time, right? So don't limit yourself if you're not quite where you want to be yet. Like, get out there, let the world know that you've got an amazing company, that there's people in it who are doing great things, and that's going to do the same thing for you. So don't feel like you can't post these because you haven't built a big enough team yet, because that's just a self-limiting belief. You can absolutely share all kinds of things with integrity, right? About your team, your bigger team, right? Maybe your enrolling sponsor, whatever it is. Don't let that hold you back.
Absolutely. Such a great point.
So the next one is curiosity posts. And we talked about this a little bit in the beginning, but curiosity posts can be really powerful when they're done right. And the reason being is people are curious. In fact, if you do the right kind of curiosity post, it will drive people crazy. And I actually had something funny happen to me on one of my social media platforms. I had someone DM me and say, okay, I've watched every single video. I still can't figure out what you do. Can you at least tell us? And so it will make people crazy, and it will make them watch more of your stuff. And the more they watch, the more they read, the more they listen, the more they're going to get to know, like, and trust you and reach out. So curiosity posts are really just a story that keeps your audience hanging, right? So it might be a product story. So maybe you were struggling with something, right? Maybe it was weight, maybe it was skin, maybe it was mental health, maybe it can be any kind of struggle. So we've got the struggle, right? And then you did something. We don't want to tell people what that something was, but you did something that took you out of that pit of pain and have some kind of result, right? That you're excited about, that you feel good about, that is making you happy, right? And you don't want to tell what it is. You just want to leave people hanging, and people will reach out. They'll reach out in Messenger and go, okay, enough. Tell me what it is. You're making me crazy. And these posts, these curiosity posts are brilliant, both on the product side of your business and on sort of the team and business side as well. And this post right here was from a woman who literally just started in network marketing. She just started, and she's talking about how happy she is because she's so excited. She found her new love. It's going to occupy her time. And she wrote this amazing post that attracted a lot of people who were on her social media, who reached out and said, hey, what is it you're up to? What is this new love you're talking about? So curiosity posts are amazing conversation starters to get your products or your opportunity out there.
I love this post because it's very well written, first of all, but I just love it because honestly, you have no idea when you read it what it is she's talking about. And it's really definitely one of those that someone's going to reach out and go, okay, please tell me. So I love it. Very well written.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's live video. So like we said before, live video is one of the best ways to really connect with your audience. And this is the one that Ruth did. And Ruth does a lot of these where she does this thing called tea time, and she'll get on and just talk about lots of different topics, something different like every week that you do this, and I absolutely love it. But this one, she was talking about look better, feel better, and experiencing the world. And she just talked about a tip about feeling better and how often to post on Instagram. So she was still giving some great information, but yet at the same time, people really jump in and join in on those because it's fun. But she also does them regularly, so her audience expects them. And when people like them, they start showing up. So another tip too, when you're doing your live videos is, yes, you can do them randomly, but another, if you are doing them kind of at a set time every day or week, or, however, whatever days you're doing them, you'll see that you'll really start getting an audience that starts showing up more and more and more. And I think I had mentioned before, when we really first started on social media, I think I went live for like 2 years straight, like every single day. So you just need to, really jump on and start doing that. But it is a way for your audience to connect, because they get to see you, they get to see the real you, they get to see how you interact with them, and they get to see that you're human. Because so many times, people look at another person and go, oh gosh, this person is so amazing, I just can't be that way. But you'll realize they're human. And so when people reach out to you, it's they really start to feel a connection through live video.
And you guys are going to be getting a lot of content around how to do live videos. I know part of Matt's course is live video content as well. But one tip around live video is I want you to think about it not having to be perfect, because think about reality TV shows and how hot they are, right? When people are let into someone's life, especially in video, when they can kind of see where you live. And sometimes my partner Reg is crossing the screen and he's got a chicken in his arm and he's waving, and like, it doesn't have to look perfect. And the more imperfect it is, the more your audience will connect with you, because they're going to get to know you on the human level. Yes, you can still give value. Yes, you can still give tips, but it doesn't have to be staged. It doesn't have to be perfect, because they're looking at you, but they're looking at the background too. Where's this person live? Is there family there? Like, people are so curious. Yeah. So don't get too caught up in, oh, I have to have a perfect background and it's got to be completely quiet and nobody can be around. Let life happen during your live videos, and you'll see how much more engagement you get, and how quicker people trust you when they really see what you're all about.
Ruth, it's so funny that you say that. I remember when I first started doing live videos every single day, I didn't have a designated place in my house yet where I was doing live video. And so I used to go outside, and, we live in Arizona, so it's nice, like almost all the time. And, but it was in the summer, and I'd go out, and it never would fail that I had this one spot on the corner of the house. I'd put my phone up, I'd have my notes, and because I had flowers behind me, but the air conditioning would kick on. And one day, not only did the air conditioning kick on, but like all of a sudden, some big truck that was like really loud came down our block starting to deliver. Then there were fire trucks, and I was just like, oh my God, like I just wanted to stop the live. But it was funny. People started commenting, going, what's going on? What's happening around you? So at first I was a little mortified because I'm thinking it needed to be perfect. But again, the imperfection it's going to help you so much more than when you think perfection does.
And think about those reality TV shows, how fun they are to watch, to see what really goes on in people's lives. So, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. And the last one is the story post. Now, we touched a little bit on the story with the curiosity post, and it was a little story. But story posts are really, really powerful as well. And I'm not going to go into too much depth because we've already covered how to tell your story, right? But story posts really do have a format. And the first one is your hook, right? So making some kind of statement that gets people's attention, so they stop and they either read the story or listen to the video or whatever modality you're sharing in. But the first part of it is really, once you get past the hook, is the problem or the struggle, right? The problem or the struggle that you had or the character in your story had. The emotion around the problem and struggle. And Matt did a fantastic job of talking about that, about how we have the struggle, but there's also the feeling around it, right? And it's those feelings that people really, really connect with. Then we go into the possibility or dream, right? So where we were hoping to get to with getting over this problem and what it felt like. So again, there's the emotion, if I was able to do this, it would feel amazing. If I was able to drop 20 pounds, oh my gosh, I'd have so much confidence. I'd feel so much happier, right? So it's the emotion around it. And then bridging the gap with the solution. So the solution could be in the form of a curiosity post, because it could be, I found this solution that allowed me to do this and I feel wonderful now. So there is a format. We go from hook to struggle, the emotion or the pit of pain, right? The possibility and the dream and the feeling around that when we get to that state that we want to be in, and curiosity around how we bridge the gap, whether it's a product you have or your business opportunity. So that's kind of the flow of a story post. Did you want to add to that, Trish, at all?
I think we're going to go into the very last piece of it here in just a second too, would be the call to action. But I think, when you can really get good at doing this, guys, it's going to draw people in. Like, it really draws people in. And because people are going to read it. And just like we talked about last week with that avatar, it's going to get them going, oh, wow, me too, right? And even if your struggle isn't identical to theirs, it's going to be close enough that they're going to really be like, oh my gosh, wow, this, she knows how I feel. He knows how I feel because he's gone through this too. And that is a big deal, because that's, again, when you're really trying to build that know, like, and trust and build that rapport with people, that's going to get that connection in there. And it's going to be what people need to see so that they keep coming back for more. And so when you can do this the right way, it's super powerful. So some of the things to remember, remember when you're doing these posts, to be speaking to your avatar when you create that content, right? Like Ruth said last week, she puts that picture of her avatar up so she knows who she's talking to, right? Really be thinking about who you're speaking to. The other thing too, when you're following that format, it makes it a lot easier to do this when you're creating your content, because when there's those couple little points that you need to hit, you can kind of, spell those out, make sure then to elaborate them on a little bit more, again, by making sure you're hitting those pain points for that avatar. So it's going to connect with them. And that is going to really allow you, be the first piece, to speak that perfect prospect's language. Again, if you're, talking to a cubicle slave, you're going to talk differently than if you're talking to a stay-at-home mom, or if you're talking to a personal trainer. So again, be thinking about who it is that you're talking to, be thinking about who your avatar is, and make sure you're using the right language to speak to them, and not just network marketing language. Because some of them, like a cubicle slave, maybe they're not anyone who's actually started network marketing yet, or even a stay-at-home mom for that matter. But if you can be writing to the pains, it's still going to draw them in and attract them to you. And then still your business could be the solution for them. So, making sure that you're not, you know, that you're using the proper languages for whoever your avatar is and not just network marketing language.
And I remember when I first started doing that myself, Trish, it really getting intentional around the language that I used. A lot more people started showing up. So for instance, a cubicle slave, what are some of the things that they talk about daily? So it could be, you know, what are some of the pains, the commute, the water cooler talk, the lunchroom, you know, the 9 to 5, the grind. So those are specific terms to a cubicle slave. You know, a stay-at-home mom could be things like play dates, going out for play dates with their kids, wanting to contribute financially. You know, what are some of the other things a stay-at-home mom might say that, you know, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been
well,
had a little kid.
Well, you know, I think the thing too with the stay-at-home mom, you know, it's the ongoing things of doing everything, you know, dropping the kids off, picking the kids up,
Yes.
taking care of the laundry, running all the errands, right? Like all these different things. And at the end of the day, they've done nothing for themselves probably. So, you know, really hitting some of those pains. And like Ruth said, you know, maybe they just want a little extra money for themselves. Maybe I know people who are stay-at-home moms who do this business just to socialize with other adults. Right. So, and it could be a stay-at-home dad too. It doesn't even have to be a stay-at-home mom, but, you know, just thinking about what it is that this person does to make sure that you're speaking the right language with them.
And the last thing is the call to action. So if you don't tell people what to do, most will do nothing. And just realize that's the way it is. People in general have a hard time making a decision about things. So we often have to help them with a call to action. Now, not every single post requires a call to action or it would look spammy. So you want to get intentional about every once in a while having a call to action on a post. Now, I've done curiosity posts, and I know a lot of people, other people have done curiosity posts without a call to action. And it was the best call to action to not have a call to action because people just naturally reached out. But sometimes you want to put a call to action in there, telling people, directing them what to do next. So we want to lead people down the road so that we can connect with them, show them our product, show them our opportunity, have conversations, get to know them better. So a call to action is really important. We need to tell people what the next step they need to take is, or oftentimes most people won't take a step at all. They'll read the post and they'll go, oh, that's cool. And they'll just keep scrolling.
So here are some examples for that call to action, right? So asking people to comment more info in the comments, right? And another little trick too, when you're telling someone something to comment, you could even make them choose something fun. Instead of even being more info, it could be, you know, type happy in the comments, right? Like it really can be anything that you want to get, you know, people to do something. Asking people to connect with you on Messenger. That's another thing that you can do as a call to action. Asking people to like, share, or comment. And that's a great one because when people actually do this the right way, they help your post get in front of a lot more people for you. You didn't even have to do that, right? And again, the algorithm is going to open up more. Asking people to subscribe to your channel or newsletter. So if you've got, you know, a YouTube channel or a newsletter that you've got out, it could be that maybe you're giving away something, right? Maybe you've got for instance, think about our little document that we've got with the, you know, with all those engagement post examples, right? You could give something away to somebody. So, you know, tell people if you want, you know, access to my document, you know, type whatever below. So there's so many different things that you can do to get people to do that call to action. But the other thing it does, besides connecting you, is it does get more engagement on your post for you, and it gets people interacting with you. And the algorithm loves that just as much as you're going to love having more people to connect with.
And then we have the 80-20 rule. Like most things in life, there's an 80-20 rule. And sometimes less is more. So don't put a call to action in every single post. It looks spammy. So really 80% of your posts need to add value. So when we talk about value, it's helpful tips, strategies. It could be entertaining, motivating, uplifting your perfect prospect. Those are value-based posts. Show lifestyle, allow people to get to know you, because the more you show of yourself, the faster they're going to get to know, like, and trust you, and potentially buy from you or join you, right? No one's going to buy or join you, buy from you or join you till they know, like, and trust you. And that can be done really effectively through these types of posts. 20% should be intended to create leads around your product or opportunity. So use that 80-20 rule, like 80%, no call to action, no real business kind of call to action, connect with me to find out more, that kind of stuff. And 20% a definite call to action, because in the 80%, people are getting to know, like, and trust you, getting value. You're being started to be seen as an authority, someone of value. And the 20%, you got to tell them what to do or they won't do anything. So.
And I love doing, just on that too, I love doing call to actions and live video. I think that makes it a lot easier. Plus you can be doing a bunch of call to actions throughout the video, even, getting people to engage and interact as well. But like Ruth said, 80-20, just follow that rule. It works really, really well. So our assignment will be to post an engagement post on your profile and engage, right? In that post, friends, when and where did we meet? That is a great one if that's one you want to use, but obviously we're going to be giving you a whole bunch of other examples as well, so you can pick any of them. And then you're going to have affirmations, and I know Matt's going to be going deeper into this for you, so I'm not going to cover that, but we're so excited, and we'll definitely see you next week.
All right, very powerful. That is a lot of information. I mean, I have studied social media for a very long time, and the way you guys lay it out is just absolute genius. I mean, you guys are incredible instructors. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. So today, the topic I'm going to go through today has everything to do with the attract phase. And there's, the way I see it, there's two different phases of attraction, right? There is what you say, right? There's the words that you say, there's the posts you put out, the lives, whatever that is. And so that is essentially giving your message, and giving your message is powerful. But if you want to step into a much deeper level of power, it's not so much about the message that you give, it's about who you are, right? So you can speak any message, right? I mean, people can speak the message, but you want people to feel who you really are. And if you are congruent with the message that you're giving, especially when you're doing some type of training, adding value, really, attempting to attract people, if you become essentially an attractive character, it makes it much more powerful. And so I'm going to cover a distinction on the inner game that has been one of the most profound lessons of my life. And honestly, it's one that I struggled with for a while, because it requires breaking decades of programming. Okay. And because I struggled with the distinction that I'm going to give you here, I didn't really own it for myself. I didn't teach it. And even when I did own it for myself, I didn't teach it because I didn't want people out there teaching it, because if you don't teach it in the right way, people don't take it as profound. They take it as you being crazy. So what I'm going to suggest here is, as I go through this information, try it on like a coat, right? You're at a department store, you're trying on a jacket, right? You can take it off. I'm just asking you to try it on. And sometimes, like when I say this, and there's very few environments where I've actually trained on the particular piece here. Again, if it's not done the right way, it doesn't work really well. And this is one of those that I'm going to encourage you to use it for yourself. And unlike most of what we teach you in the inner circle here, this is not for you to go out and teach. Okay. The only reason why I'm giving you this distinction right now is because number one, it's your level of commitment. Like I know how committed you guys are. And then number two, even more importantly, it's what we've already covered in the inner game. And without the framework that you've already been through over the last few weeks, and specifically the work that you've done over the past few weeks, I wouldn't be teaching this. Now, I am committed to you getting this conversation, not just for you, but really for the lives of the people who are counting on you. And the way I see it is all of us. Like if you have raised your hand to be in the inner circle, that's you raising your hand saying, you know what, I'm stepping up as a leader. I'm going to lead other people to help transform their lives and help them step into their potential. And so that's why I'm committed to having you get this. And this is really about the people's lives who you can impact and people who are counting on you for your leadership. And you may be at a point where you don't have a lot of people in your group, and you may not feel like some of you I know have big teams, right? You've made hundreds of thousands, maybe you've made $1 million. Like there's some powerful people in here. And there's also some who don't have huge teams. And the biggest mistake that you can make if you have no team or a small team is discounting your level of leadership. So I'm going to encourage you to step into a new level of leadership, even if you don't feel it, even if you don't feel like you have a team to warrant stepping into that. Now, the message I'm delivering here to you is core to transformation. And so again, what is transformation? Transformation is when you're able to essentially shift your beliefs such that you're able to step into a new way of being, okay? And without this distinction, it becomes difficult to step into a new way of being. So the question is, and this is my entire message revolves around one single question, and it's, who are you? Like really, who are you? And as I speak and train, if I ask someone directly, like, who are you? Most people are going to say, oh, I am whatever my job is. Like I'm a network marketer, or I'm a carpenter, I'm an attorney, I'm a doctor, whatever. Maybe I'm a dad, I'm a mom, and I'm an entrepreneur. I had someone say, one time they said, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm like, all right, cool. That's awesome, right? So there's nothing wrong with any of those things. The problem with it is it's pretty average, right? There are millions of other people who are network marketers. There's millions of other people who are moms, dads, sons, daughters, carpenters, doctors, cashiers, you name it, okay? And as long as who you define yourself as, who you see yourself as is average, you'll always have an average life. Okay, so some of what you have, like if you were to like go deep, like tell me more about who you are, some of that is going to be good. Like maybe you're loving, maybe you're thoughtful, maybe you're generous, maybe you're confident, like all of these good things, and those are great. But most people, especially me years ago, if I had to really look at who I had some good things. I was like disciplined, a hard worker, but I was also very self-conscious. I was afraid. I was a poor communicator. I was shy. I had a severe lack of confidence, right? All of these self-limiting beliefs. And what you are, good or bad, most people hang on to it because it's been so deeply embedded into their programming, into their identity, which we've talked about. So like mine, my identity was I was shy. Growing up, I was so shy. I'd hide behind my mom's legs, right? When adults would say, hey, what's your name? I wouldn't even say it. I'd hide behind my mom. I was so shy growing up, okay? And I would never speak up in class. And until I did the kind of work that you're doing right now, you could not have convinced me otherwise, right? It's the same for me. It was the same being afraid of public speaking, not being very smart. Like I didn't make good grades in school. And I don't know what any of the limiting beliefs that you may have about yourself. Maybe you don't have any, but maybe you know someone who does. What happens is we tend to hang on to these beliefs as who we are. Like, I am shy. I am afraid of public speaking. It's the way I was born. It's core to who I am. And you hold on to these damn limitations. And it's what I held on to for so long. So I go to events, I get motivated, I leave, and I don't produce results because the core of who I am never changed. I had some external motivation, but I didn't change the core. And because I didn't change the core, I didn't change my belief or my identity. I struggled. I was a prisoner to my identity. So here's where the power comes in with this distinction. Consider, just for a moment, put this jacket on. Okay, you can take it off if you don't like it. Consider adopting a more powerful belief. Consider adopting a belief that everything you are, good, the bad, consider that it's not core to who you are at all. Like, not at all. It's not core to who you are, but instead it's something that was created based on your programming. Like, you were programmed to be shy. You were programmed to be whatever it is you are, or like you heard something at some point in your life and you held on to it, and you've been reinforcing this identity about yourself for years and years and years. But what if it weren't true at all? What if it was just that programming that has been ingrained into your subconscious mind for years and years and years? So what if that were true? Like, if we could believe that whatever negative self-limiting beliefs that we have, what if that wasn't who we were at all? Shy, afraid of people, bad communicator, any of that. So if everything I am, good or bad, has actually been created, the question is, what are we really? Like, what are you really? Well, if it's created, I'm essentially a blank slate. So consider for a moment that what we really are at our core is actually nothing other than what we've created, meaning at my core, I'm nothing. This is why I say don't go train on this. You go telling people they're nothing, they think you're crazy. Okay? But you guys can get the power of this. Now, average thinking would look at this and be offended. Like, how dare you say I'm nothing? I'm not nothing, I'm something. And as long as you're something, it means you're locked into that something. And so if that something is negative, you're locked into that negative thing. What if it were all bullshit? Okay, again, this is why I'm encouraging you not to teach this, at least not now. Okay? If we can get this distinction that at my core, I'm nothing, what does that give me? What do I have? If I can adopt this, what does it really give me? It gives me freedom. Freedom to actually be anything I create. It gives me the freedom to finally give up the beliefs about myself that have been holding me back. Freedom to further expand the positive beliefs about ourselves that we believe to be true. So you can keep the good things, whether it was created or not. You can, if you created it, you can keep it and you can expand it. You can make it even better. But the negative things, if they were created, let's discard them and get to nothing. So if you can get to the point where you're nothing and you have the freedom to create anything, then what you are essentially is a possibility. The possibility to be anything you want. The possibility of being confident beyond measure. The possibility of being the single most powerful leader in your company. The possibility of being passionate, courageous, bold, any other thing, possibility that you're committed to creating. So years ago, when I learned this stuff, I've done so much deep work, so many crazy events. And the reason why I became the #1 income earner in 3 different companies isn't because of anything that's core to who I am. It's because I consciously created it. I decided I'm nothing, which gives me the power to be any possibility I want. And so I created that consciously, along with so many other things. Now, the problem for most isn't that they can't create these possibilities. They can with the right coaching. The problem is they don't, consciously create the possibilities because they refuse to let go of the identity that's kept them imprisoned to their existing circumstances. So they remain stuck in the belief that who they are is something other than possibility. They hold on. It's like, no, you can't let me release these self-limiting beliefs, because as I talked about in weeks previous, the law of consistency and commitment, your identity will fight to keep you in line with your identity. It's why this is not easy work sometimes. The law of consistency and commitment says you will be committed to remaining consistent with who you believe you are. So this is why it's a difficult conversation for some people. So you got some choices. You can either be in prison holding on to the beliefs that you are the limiting beliefs holding you back, or you can get to nothing, be free, and invent a new possibility. So you think about this, like kids, my kids as an example, every couple of years, they are a completely different person. My daughter, I was just sharing with one of my daughter's best friend's dad took my daughter and his daughter ice skating today. And so, you know, as my daughter's getting ready, I came out, she's 12 now, suddenly it takes forever to get ready. And so she's getting ready, I go out and I talk to my buddy, and we start talking, and he's like, yeah, I'm taking them ice skating, but I promised that I wouldn't be anywhere close to them. So I'll like be a ways away so they don't have to hang out with dad. And I was like, dude, Zara is a totally different girl at 12 than she was at 11. It was like a flip switched, and suddenly she's taking forever to get ready. She's like wanting to wear like eyeliner, eyeshadow, like stuff like that. It's like, she's a totally different kid. My son, totally different kid than he was a year or two ago. My other daughter, totally different kid. Every couple of years, children, as they're growing up, they're totally different. Most adults, however, it's the same person year after year after year after year. It's the same person. Most people, because they never choose to create a new possibility, they remain stuck with an identity created by their negative programming. They live a life by default versus the life of their dreams. They're like a ping pong ball in the ocean. They're just floating around with no force to help them get to their destination. So the conversation we're having here is about who you are, what you're up to, and if you can get this dialed in about you being really powerful, get that dialed in, it makes all the difference in the world. So sit in this for a minute. If it's a possibility to be anything at all, who would you be? What would you create if you could be anything? Most people have never actually taken the time to create the ultimate version of themselves. Now, it can't be anyone else. It won't work. Okay, when I learned this stuff, I was like, oh, if I could be anyone, I would be my mentor. And so I wanted to be just like him, and it didn't work. See, this is about understanding that the most powerful person that you can possibly be is the most powerful version of yourself. Anything else is simply an imitation. Now, this may be hard to believe if you have these self-limiting beliefs that, if I'm going to be myself, that's not going to be powerful because I have all these self-limiting beliefs. Again, we got to get to the place that those self-limiting beliefs are just bullshit. It's just something you've created. There's no reality to it because at your core, who are you? You're nothing other than a possibility. You're a blank slate. And so the most powerful version of you is going to be amazingly powerful. Okay, so if you've ever listened to a presenter and they say great words, like if you ever been on a Zoom or maybe a talk and someone said great words, but you're just not moved. Why weren't you moved? It's because they're not being their message. So power, like real power in leadership and being able to move people emotionally, is about being your message. Great book called Primal Leadership by Daniel Goleman, who writes about emotional intelligence. He says great leaders have the ability to move people emotionally. So what makes you powerful in your ability to move people emotionally? Whether you're doing a presentation or a live or a training or a call to action, It's when you're being your message. Okay. It's when you're showing up powerfully. So for this week's assignment, what we're going to do is we're going to write down at least 10 things that are the ultimate representation of the ultimate version of you. And these become your affirmations. Okay, so it's not just write your affirmations, right? I wanted to pre-frame this. I want to set this up because if you don't have the context behind the affirmations that I just gave you, then people write affirmations and their affirmation is like their goal. So I make $100,000 a year. I'm a millionaire. And there's nothing wrong with that, not at all, but they're not figuring out like, all right, in order to get the goal, having the goal as an affirmation is great, but who is the ultimate person? So the affirmation also needs to be about the person, okay? Now, I don't have to convince you about the power of affirmations, right? We know they serve as powerful programming tools to shape your identity. They create your belief system, okay? Like I said in week 1, everything you say about yourself makes it more true. What you say after I am follows you, okay? So if you say I'm an idiot, that follows you. If you say I'm a genius, that follows you. So whether you've created affirmations for the ultimate version of yourself or not, we're going to create new ones based on who you are committed to becoming now. Now that you've been through this coaching, now that you get a sense of like the level that you want to step up and the game that you want to play, that's what we're going to create these affirmations for. And I'm going to show you a brain hack to help embed these into your subconscious with the strategy that I've almost never heard anyone coach on. This is something that I discovered because I've got a bit of a crazy obsession with brain science. And when I was creating psychological fuel stacking, this is like part of the research that I found. And so I'm going to give you some of mine that I read every single day. Okay. Now, why am I reading these every day? I'm reading these every day because I'm programming myself to make sure these are an absolute reality for my life. And so I'm overjoyed with happiness every day because I live a life that I absolutely love. My children and I share a profound connection, and I'm overjoyed every day because of the amazing love we have for each other. I have boundless levels of energy, and it feels amazing. I'm one of the most iconic, trusted, and legendary figures in network marketing. Success comes to me easily. I easily earn over $1 million per month. Abundance and prosperity flow to me from every direction, and I feel exhilarated. I'm the motivator and mentor to the top leaders in network marketing. I love the fact that I'm addicted to working out every day as a peak performance athlete. It feels amazing to be in perfect health, filled with energy, have an amazing, sexy body with six-pack abs, and to feel younger every day. I'm a business and marketing genius, and my company is growing like crazy every month. Millions of people see my training online each week, and I make a huge positive impact in people's lives. My words touch, move, and inspire people. I'm overflowing with charisma, and I have a glow around me. I'm a hero to my children. I feel completely at peace and completely fulfilled. So this is what I'm programming myself every day. Now, these have changed so much over the years. Like one of mine, for the longest time, was I'm one of the most confident men in the world. Now, when I wrote that, it sounded like total BS because I was not confident at all. And I started developing a little bit of confidence. And because I just kept ingraining it into my mind, I'm one of the most confident men in the world. I'm one of the most confident men in the world. I became it. It became part of my message. So literally to this day, there is not another leader in the entire network marketing industry that I would be intimidated to talk to. There's no one that I feel like is at a higher level as far as business building, as far as understanding the inner game, leadership, all of that. Like I have supreme confidence in that way. And I don't say that to you guys. It's not something I'm like preaching out there. I'm letting you into my mind. Now, I don't have that affirmation here anymore because it's become me. Like I don't need to reaffirm it every single day because I got it. And when you truly have it, it might be something that you remind yourself of, but it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you're like drilling in every single day of your life. Now, when I started really getting this, like becoming the ultimate version of myself, and for the longest time, I would write affirmations, but I wasn't doing them consistently. Like I'm not reading them every day. And I didn't get a lot of power from it. Like I'd do it for a day or two, a few days. See, when it started working is when I got radically committed. Like, this is who I am. This is who I'm committed to being. And I'm saying it over and over and over. I'm ingraining it into my subconscious so that it becomes my identity, so that the law of consistency and commitment kicks in, and I'm committed to being consistent with something powerful versus something that holds me back. And I'll give you some examples of manifestation with this. Now, I had been doing this for a while. I had my affirmations, one of the most confident men in the world. I touch, move, and inspire people, like all these things. Like some of them I still keep because it's important for me. Like I touch, move, and inspire people is still part of my affirmation because I'm consistently speaking. And for me, it's powerful. So I leave it. Like there's no hard and fast rules other than these need to be written in the affirmative as if they're already true. You're not saying I will be a millionaire. When you say I will be a millionaire, you program your subconscious mind that you're not a millionaire yet. So these need to be stated in the affirmative as if they're already true. So I start building a team. I've got like 100,000 people on my team, and I'm at a level that I've never been at before. And I realize that my role needs to change. I need to reinvent myself. I got to reinvent myself. And so I was like, who do I need to be to take my group to the next level? It's an important question to ask yourself. Who do you need to be to take your organization to the next level? So I decided that I am the motivator to the motivators, was the affirmation I created. I'm the motivator to the motivators. And I was specifically thinking about my company. I've changed it since because I own that, completely own that. So I've changed it now where I'm the motivator and mentor to the top leaders in network marketing. So I've changed it. I've elevated to another level. You may not start with that. Like if you don't have much of a team and your affirmation is, I'm the mentor to the top leaders in network marketing, I would create one that's a little bit closer versus going that far, okay? Now, the affirmation I created was, I'm the motivator to the motivators. And I started saying this every day, every day, every day, every day. And it was about 2 weeks later, I get invited to go speak to one of the top leaders in the company that I was in, arguably the #1 trainer in our company who, like, I remember when I came into the company, I was like, hey, who's the best speaker? And someone told me it was this guy because he has such an amazing mix of tactical training and motivation. And so I went to speak at his event. Now, he had been in the company longer than me, rocking it, lots of experience. And so we do a Super Saturday together. And he does half and I do half. At the end of his talk, he comes up to me. And this is a guy that I kind of like, not idolize, but I really look up to as a speaker. And a guy that had influenced me, right? And so he tells me, he goes, man, I didn't expect this to happen today, but the message that you delivered, you gave me exactly what I needed. And it just hit me. There was a reason why he said that. It was no surprise that I gave him what he needed because I decided to become the motivator to the motivators. And within about 2 weeks, it manifested itself. I'll give you another example. Eric Worre asked me to speak at his recruiting mastery event in the UK. Okay, so I fly to the UK, do this event. Now I have speaker affirmations. So if I'm getting on a big stage, I typically am saying things like, I'm the best there's ever been and the best there ever will be. I touch, move, and inspire people. I light up the stage. God's energy flows through me. And I'm backstage, I'm prepping, like I'm gonna go on stage. It's like 15, 20 minutes, and I create a new affirmation. And I just create a new one. And I say, I hit people right in the heart. 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 And so I'm like closing my eyes. I'm backstage. I'm like, I hit people right in the heart. I hit people right in the heart. And so I go, I give my talk. I was the last speaker. We finish up. It was, I felt like I did a great job. And then I come off stage. And so, we're doing pictures and some people are having me sign, my book and things like that. And there's this group around me. And I noticed there's a lady standing off to the side and she's watching, but she's not coming up to the group. And I just thought it was interesting. And because she just like kept looking, right? And so I finished signing pictures and all this. And finally everyone leaves. And she walks up to me and you can tell really emotional. And she says, I just wanted to tell you, I wanted to wait till everyone left because I just had to tell you, I've never felt like this before, but there was one point in your talk where I literally, it felt like you hit me, or no, it felt like you hit me in the heart with a truck, like a truck hit me in my heart. No surprise, no coincidence that she said she felt like a truck hit her right in the heart. And my affirmation was I hit people right in the heart. It manifested itself so quick. And I could give you so many examples of this. When I've created an affirmation, when I've decided this is who I am, and it's not just the affirmation. It's not just the affirmation, it's living the affirmation. It's deciding to be the affirmation. Like, this is who I am. This is who I show up as. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to write these affirmations, essentially defining the ultimate version of you. Who do you need to be in order to achieve your goals? Who do you need to be in order to take your organization to the next level? Now, this is a powerful way to activate your subconscious, right? But this is programming for your subconscious. What I want to talk to you about is a way to put your subconscious to work. Like, what if you could make your subconscious actually do some work and go to work to make these part of your identity? Okay. Now, the subconscious has the ability to solve any problem and create any reality. Okay. The subconscious is infinitely more powerful than the conscious mind. So how many of you, like, just as an example, how many of you have ever had a dream and you wake up from the dream and you are like, how in the world did my mind come up with that? Like, I've had so many dreams where I wake up and I'm like, that was like a movie. Like, all of these things happen. You're like, how could I come up with that? That's the power of the subconscious mind. Now, experts say that your subconscious receives like 80,000 different thoughts, ideas, emotions, desires, and all that every single day, like 80,000 pieces of input. And that is lowballing it. Okay. Some say it's much, much more. Okay. Some say it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Some say it's a million. Okay. Well, all of this gets filtered into your subconscious mind. It's all an entry into your mind. Now, your subconscious has control of everything, like billions and billions and billions, trillions of bytes of information. And there's so much data in your subconscious, it's difficult to determine what's important. Okay. So it's why I created this psychological fuel stacking. It's hitting the subconscious, hitting your identity in so many different ways that your subconscious is like, this is what's important. This is the direction that we need to go. This is what we need to focus on. This is what we need to manifest. This is all about manifestation. Okay, so you're able to create an identity based on what you really want versus default. It's being intentional with your identity. Now, the subconscious never shuts off. It never goes to sleep like the conscious mind. It's always active, right? And so the conscious mind is most active during the day. The subconscious mind is more active while you sleep. Although it's always working, it is working overtime while you're sleeping because the conscious mind is gone, okay? Is asleep, essentially. So I'm going to show you how to put the subconscious mind to work while you sleep to help you manifest the ultimate version of yourself. Now, you're going to rewrite your affirmations as questions. And you're going to read these questions at night before you go to bed. Now, it doesn't take long. It's quick. You read through it. And this essentially, when you ask a question, it forces your subconscious to go look for an answer. So when you ask a question about your affirmation, as if like, why is this true? Your subconscious goes to work looking for evidence as to why these affirmations are true to help them like create this as your reality. And so I'll give you mine. Okay. Now, these are the questions. So in the morning, you're programming yourself. If you want extra credit, read through it multiple times a day. The more you can do this, the more programming that you get, the more it shapes your identity. Now, the questions that I ask myself, I basically take the affirmations and I create a question. So why am I so overjoyed with happiness every day? So think about that for a second. Why am I so overjoyed with happiness every day? And I ask that before bed so that as I go to sleep, my mind's thinking about it. Like, these are the things that my mind's thinking about. Okay. Why do I live a life that I absolutely love? Why do my children and I share such a profound connection? Why do I have such boundless levels of energy? Why am I one of the most iconic, trusted, and legendary leaders in network marketing? Why does success come to me so easily? Why do I easily earn over $1 million per month? Why does abundance and prosperity flow to me from every direction? Why am I the motivator and mentor to the top leaders in network marketing? See, that's something I want evidence of. Okay. Why am I addicted to working out every day? Why am I a business and marketing genius? Why is my company growing like crazy every month? Why do my words touch, move, and inspire people? Why am I overflowing with charisma? Why do I have a glow around me? Why am I a hero to my children? Why do I feel completely at peace? Why do I feel completely fulfilled? See, this is something I want my subconscious going to work for. I want them figuring it out. I want my subconscious to figure this stuff out. Okay, there's a bonus. You can write these down. You can read them out loud, which accesses the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic modalities, right? These are the three main sensory receivers that we have. And so when you can access all three, it's essentially kind of like telling your subconscious that this is important to focus on. Okay, I'm not saying this needs to be your daily power ritual. There's so many hours in a day, and you know, if you're spending an hour before bed writing all this down, you're not likely to actually do it. Now, I will tell you, in my life, there have been periods where I've really needed this. Some of you need this more than others. Some of you are in a place where you're like, I need a breakthrough. If you really need this breakthrough, obviously you want to take all the knowledge and all the tactical skills and put these to use. I mean, everything that you learned earlier, start putting that to use so you can start generating results. But if you don't change the inside, you're not going to show up as powerfully. Okay. So here's what you want to get from this. And this is fundamental to psychological fuel stacking. If you're just doing affirmations, that's good. Affirmations are very effective, like for changing your programming in our subconscious, but it doesn't send the command to your subconscious to do anything. So when you ask a question to validate the affirmation, you're putting your subconscious to work to create connections in your brain with those billions of bytes to justify the affirmations as being true. Now, something that I've done is before bed, I create an audio. So Audacity on your computer, it's a free download. There's several others. So you record yourself. You could do it on your phone, actually. I did it on Audacity, and I'll just explain what I did. So I create an audio file of me reading my affirmations. I'm overjoyed with happiness every day because I live a life that I absolutely love, like these programming. And I record it. With Audacity, you can copy and paste, and you can basically loop it. Okay, so I create an hour of this and I play it. So as I'm going to bed, I hear myself reading the affirmations. Now, I'm not doing that right now. If you have a partner, they might not want to hear your affirmations. I did this when I was single, and it was a regular thing for me, listening to my affirmations. So I'm programming to make it a reality. So part of your daily power ritual with your identity stack is in the morning, you're going to read your purpose, you're going to read your vision statement, you're going to read your values, and you're going to add approximately 10 or so affirmations. Okay, I have 12. You can have 7. At one point, I had 65. I found when I had 65, it was so much to focus on, I didn't feel as much power. So I have 12 because I narrow it down, and my subconscious, I feel like, can really focus on those 12. Okay, so now we also have an evening power ritual as part of your identity stack as well. So you're going to read your affirmations as questions before you go to bed. Now, this is powerful to be used with affirmations, and it's powerful to be used with really any major question that you're trying to answer. And so if you've got a challenge in your life, create a question around it. I was doing a training up, and after a training, I had one other guy that was training with me. He was like a junior trainer in the coaching environment that I was in. And so at the end of the day, he asked me, like, his goal was to hit the top rank in the company. And at the time, he was like maybe 3 ranks away. Now, sharp guy, very smart. And we're at the bar, actually, we're having a drink. And he's asking me, like, hey, what do I need to do? He's like very analytical kind of guy. And he's asking me, hey, what do I need to do? What? And like, I'd have to spend so much time. Like, I don't have time to train him on all this stuff that you're going through. And here's all I told him. I said, dude, here's what I want you to do, is I want you to just stay in the question. Ask yourself, like, continually, what do I need to do to hit the next rank? What do I need to be doing today to hit the next rank? What do I need to focus on this week to hit the next rank? Stay in the question and ask yourself that question all the time. And that I said, just do that. Because I really, like, after a full day of training, I didn't want to go into like 2 hours of training. So I gave him that. Now, it was about a year and a half later, he hits the top rank in the company and he comes to me and he goes, dude, the mentorship that you gave me that night was so powerful. Do you remember what it was? And I was like, yeah, I just told you to stay in the question. He goes, that's what I did. I started asking every question I needed in order to hit the rank, and I started finding the answers. Okay, so the thing is, stay in the question. Your subconscious starts going to work to find the answers for what you need. Now, what is this about? This is about you rising up. This is about you stepping up as a leader. It's about you making a decision that you're going to be a much more powerful version than what you've been showing up as. And in order to show up powerfully, it requires you to kill off the previous version of you and get to nothing. Okay? It requires a decision, not just once. It requires a decision every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, to be the ultimate version of yourself. Okay, it's a difference. Here's another distinction between do, have, be. Most people live by do, have, be versus be, do, have. Okay, they fail because they have this mistaken belief that if you do the things, then you'll have the results and then you'll be the person. So let's give a dating example. So if I get on a dating app or I start going out to meet people, that's the do, I'll find a woman or a man and I'll go on a bunch of dates and then I'll have a relationship. I'll have a boyfriend, girlfriend, and then I'll be happy. Now, chances are your ideal mate wants someone who's already happy. The key is being happy first, and then you'll attract the mate. Now, in network marketing, it's like I'll make the calls, I'll do the social media posts, then I'll have a big downline, and then I'll be the leader. But the reality is you won't ever attract the big downline until you be the leader first. Being always comes before the having. You've got to be first, decide to step into the role. My mentor told me years ago, he said, you are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. And when that finally sunk into my thick head that I had to be the leader first if I wanted to attract other leaders, I started saying to myself, I'm the leader that every other leader is looking for. And I'd say it over and over, multiple times a day. I'm the leader that every other leader is looking for. And then I started attracting leaders. I decided to be the leader. So when I'm like, all right, I am the leader, I'm going to be the leader, then I show up as the leader. Okay? So this week, it's about creating the ultimate version of yourself and making a decision to step into your power on a level that you haven't stepped into before. When you define the ultimate version of yourself with these affirmations and you read them every single morning, you now have a guide. You have a standard for who you are and who you're committed to being. When you step out of that standard, and you will, because I step out of my standard all the time, but when you do, you correct yourself and you get back into your being. You get back into your standard. So your assignment for this week. Trish already covered it. You're going to post an engagement post on your profile and you're going to engage. So if you're posting, hey friends, when and where did we meet? Then you're going to dive in and you're going to create conversations. See, whenever you're posting, if you're not engaging in the comments, you're not going to get consistent comments. So get in and engage. Start conversations. When I did the hey friends, when and where did we meet? High school, junior high, like people came out of the woodworks that I haven't talked to in years. It was a great reason to re-engage and start conversations. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is you're going to write approximately 10 affirmations that you're going to read every morning. And next, you're going to write 10 questions based on those affirmations, and you're going to read those before bed every night. Okay, the bonus is saying them out loud, writing them, so you're accessing all three modalities, the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic. Okay, now you'll meet with your accountability groups. In your accountability groups, you're going to share your biggest learnings from this coaching, and you're going to share what you're committed to implementing, what you're committed to being. Number two, you're going to share your affirmations, and you're going to share what you're discovering, like what you're discovering about yourself. And then number three, anything else that serves the group. Again, these groups, while we direct the process, you own it. Okay, you guys do what's most powerful for the group. Next, daily power rituals. Let's recap the daily power rituals. Number one is your gratitude stack. And this, my friends, they're called daily power rituals because they allow you to access power. And if you do them for a few days, it's not going to matter. Okay, the reason why I covered the success curve in week number one, if you remember the success curve, it's when you start doing things and it doesn't seem to matter. And when you stop doing them, it's those small errors in judgment that lead to failure. It's those consistent daily actions that lead to success. So this is me saying, do the work, okay? Do the daily power rituals so that you'll access power. And it works if you do them consistently over time, not if you do them 2 or 3 days in a row and you're like, my life's not changed. Your life changes when you do them consistently. So gratitude stack, you write down 5 things. Okay, you're going to write it, you're going to feel it, and you're going to give it away. 5 things, at least one of them should be a person. You're going to feel it. Spend a minute feeling, like soaking in the gratitude, and then you're going to give it away. Send a text message, a call, Facebook message, give it away. Tell someone why you're grateful for them. Could be a post, okay? Could be a gratitude post. That's a great way to give it away. Number 2, you're going to do your learning stack. That's 10 pages or 30 minutes of an audio or a video, and you're going to write down your biggest learnings. When you do this consistently over months and even years, you will become one of the best trainers in our profession because you're going to have so much knowledge to train on. And you're going to do your identity stack. In the mornings, you're going to read through your core purpose. You're going to read through your vision, you're going to read through your virtues, and you're going to pick one of those virtues to focus on for the day, and then you're going to read through your affirmations. At night, you'll read through your affirmations as questions. So what we've just gone through, week by week by week, I'm showing you through this psychological fuel stacking how to attack your inner game at a bunch of different levels, so that the end result is you are able to step into a new level as a leader, a much more powerful version of yourself. Now, it requires work. I never said this was an easy process. It takes work, but I'm telling you, if you'll do the work, it is incredible what you'll become. So my friends, thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for supporting your brothers and sisters in the accountability groups. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for those of you who are giving your all. I honor you. I salute you. And so excited to be on this journey with you guys. So we will see you on Thursday for the Q&A call. Love you guys. God bless. Have an amazing night.